Hey there, and welcome to Authentically ADHD. I'm your host, Carmen, and I am so glad that you're here. This is a podcast where we get real about ADHD. No filters, no judgment, a safe space to explore and learn and grow. If you're here, it's because you want to take a deep dive into the world of ADHD, and trust me, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I start this podcast? Well, in true ADHD fashion, it all started very impulsively. One day, I thought, I should start a podcast, especially with all this paperwork that I have and all these notes that I have trying to understand my own ADHD. And the next thing I knew, here I am, sharing thoughts with you. I don't know, 200, 100 episodes later? I don't know. I lose track of time. I'm time blind. Are you? Anyways, when you have ADHD, ideas come fast, and sometimes you just gotta roll with them. Honestly, this podcast was born out of my passion for understanding ADHD in a deeper way with the newest research. You see, pills don't teach skills. That's something I've learned over the years. Medication can help and is a great tool to use, but true growth, that comes from knowledge, understanding, and actionable skills. And so that's what I want to share with you. Research-backed insights, practical tips, and lived experiences of someone who's been there. Now, a little bit about me. I'm not just a host of this podcast. I'm also an early childhood special education teacher, which means I've spent years understanding how children learn, grow, and thrive in ways that work for them, especially when they're neurodiverse. And I'm also a certified life and performance coach, guiding people to unlock their full potential in both their personal and professional lives. But here's the thing that makes me a little different. I'm also a late diagnosed ADHDer. And on top of that, I self-identify as being on the autism spectrum. So when I talk about ADHD, it's not just from a professional perspective, it's from lived experience, because I get it. I know what it's like to feel like your brain is running at full speed while everyone else is moving at a different pace, and you have instructions that are in Japanese and upside down, and everybody else got them in their own language. Throughout this podcast, I'll share all kinds of insights about navigating life with ADHD, from the everyday struggles to the strengths that we can celebrate. We'll talk about everything from time management to relationships to self-advocacy, and all about how to live authentically in a world that often asks us to be anything but. Whether you have ADHD yourself or you want to understand it better, you are in the right place. So, let's get started. Hey there, my ADHD tribe. I have an offer for you. Do you ever feel like you're constantly juggling, but somehow always dropping the ball? You're not alone. We've all been there. I struggle still to manage time, stay organized, and to keep track of the never-ending to-do list. I'm Carmen, and I get it. Trust me, that's why I have created Thriving Authentically with ADHD, Executive Functions and Coping Strategies. It's a course designed to help you take control of your ADHD brain instead of letting it control you. But here's the kicker. It's not just a course. It's a journey. For only $25, you'll get access to about 3 hours of exclusive ADHD-friendly content that breaks down the executive functions in simple terms and explains why your ADHD brain works in the way that it does. And most executive functions, most importantly, it'll teach you practical, research-backed coping strategies that you can start using today. From working memory struggles to time blindness to emotional regulation, we cover it all. Plus, you'll get a workbook in your email packed with interactive exercises to help you reflect on your own ADHD journey, track your progress, and apply what you've learned at your own pace. But that's not all. You also will get 2 personalized coaching sessions where we can dive into your specific challenges and create strategies that work for you. No more one-size-fits-all solutions, just real, authentic, tailored support. And the best part, you get all this for just $25. That's less than a cost of a meal out. Plus, with my proven strategies, you can start improving your executive function skills in no time. Imagine finally understanding your ADHD brain and learning how to thrive and not just survive. Don't wait too long. The spots are limited. Sign up today and let's get started on your journey to thriving authentically with ADHD. Hi, this is a disclaimer that I am a early childhood special education teacher. I am a certified life and performance coach, and I am a podcaster. All right, I am not a medical doctor, and none of this information should be used in supplement of a medical professional and or therapy. Hey there, you beautiful human. Welcome back to Authentically ADHD, the podcast where we unpack the neurodivergent brain with equal parts science, sass, and self-compassion. I'm your host, Carmen, certified coach, early childhood special education teacher, and professional overthinker with a PDHD. Okay. It was supposed to be a funny joke that I wrote, but when I pre-write jokes, they don't come out as funny as when I come up with them. So, I'm just going to read that out one more time. I'm your host, Carmen, a certified coach, early childhood educator, and professional overthinker with a PhD in... Wait, what was I doing again? Today, we're diving deep into a brainy buzzword that sounds like something only psychology majors and robots talk about, and that is metacognition. Don't run, don't pause, don't print it off. I promise it's going to be worth it. There is a follow along in the show notes to help you actively process it, because understanding metacognition might just be the key to getting you unstuck from that cycle of what did I just do? Why did I just say that? How did I end up doom scrolling when I opened my laptop to pay bills? So let's get started. What is metacognition? No, seriously, what the heck is it? And why is it so slippery for ADHD brains? And most importantly, how can we get better at it? The answer is all of these things have answers, and they're good. So let's break it down. Metacognition literally translates to thinking about thinking. It sounds a little woo-woo or overly academic at first, right? A little meta. But stay with me, because this one skill has the power to reshape how we function, learn, grow, and even how we forgive ourselves after an awkward overshare. At its core, metacognition is your brain's ability to step outside itself and zoom in and say, what am I doing right now? Why am I doing it this way? Is it working? Do I need to adjust or pivot? If your brain were a car, metacognition is both the rearview mirror and the GPS. The mirror helps you reflect on where you've been, so the mistakes, patterns, wins that you've had, and the GPS helps you reroute in real time or recalibrate your next move with intention. And bonus, it helps you avoid crashing into the same wall twice. Unlike cars, our brains don't come standard with this system fully installed and running smoothly. And especially if you've got ADHD, you may not even have a system to run smoothly. Because metacognition lives in the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive office. This region handles big-ticket tasks, planning, inhibition, working memory, and self-monitoring. For people who do not have ADHD, this area gets activated reliably during reflection, problem solving, and decision making. But for ADHD brains, this area can be underactivated, inefficiently connected, or easily hijacked by more reactive brain areas, especially the amygdala, that emotional fire alarm that can hijack any part of the brain, and the default mode network, the demon in our brain, our daydreaming inner narrator that loves to time travel, catastrophize, or overthink. So when people say, just be more self-aware, what they don't realize is that metacognition is not a choice. It is a skill. And for those of us with ADHD, that skill needs intentional strengthening, just like a muscle. Picture this. You walk into the break room on a Monday morning. A coworker casually asks, how was your weekend? And before you even realize what's happening, you've launched into a full TED talk about your breakup, your existential dread, and the weird rash you probably shouldn't have Googled at 2 a.m. this morning, which is why you look so tired. And then, boom, metacognition finally kicks in, and you suddenly think, whoa, too much, dial it back. That's metacognition showing up late to the party, whispering, hey, maybe this wasn't the space for all that. Now, imagine if that part of your brain had showed up mid-sentence instead of post-cringe. You could have checked that earlier, re-steered the conversation, or paused to ask, am I sharing because I feel safe or because I'm so anxious and unfiltered that I am oversharing? That's the gold, the moment of choice that metacognition really offers you. Let's say your brain is a movie set. Most of the time, the ADHD brain is the lead actor, impulsively reacting, improvising, going off script, and sometimes stealing snacks from craft services. But metacognition is the director in the chair behind the camera, not the counter. The director can watch the scene unfold, call cut when something's off to re-record, ask for a script change, pivot, and guide the actor towards a better performance. Without a director, the actor just keeps going, even if they're off track, off theme, or even off the rails. And here's the key. ADHD does not mean we can't direct our own thoughts. It just means that our director shows up late, gets distracted by lighting, and sometimes forgets that there's even a script. But with practice, we can train that director to speak up sooner and more quickly. Quick recap, because #working memory sucks. Metacognition is noticing what you're thinking, understanding your why, checking if it aligns with your goals, and adjusting without spiraling into shame. It's your internal feedback loop, and it's crucial for self-awareness, learning from mistakes, and actually implementing those routines and strategies we keep downloading on Pinterest. And don't worry, we're about to dive into why this is so tricky for the ADHD brains and how to strengthen it without needing a PhD or a personality transplant. So why is metacognition so slippery for the ADHD brain? Let's be real. For many of us, trying to practice metacognition is like trying to grab fog with chopsticks. We know that we should pause and reflect, but in the moment, our brain's like, reflect on what? I'm already 3 tabs deep Googling if penguins have knees. So, why is metacognition so tricky for the ADHD brain? Here's the science and some real-life truth bombs to explain it. ADHD is a disorder of self-regulation, not attention. People hear ADHD and think of bouncing legs and shiny object syndrome like squirrel. But the core issue isn't attention, it's self-regulation. And self-regulation means managing what you think, how you feel, and what you do in real time. Metacognition essentially is self-regulation. It's the skill of noticing, assessing, and steering your own thoughts and behaviors, which means when our regulatory system is wobbly, so is our metacognitive ability. This is why ADHDers often say things like, I knew it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway. I didn't realize I was spiraling until hours later. I meant to pause and reflect, then I blinked and it was 2 a.m. I didn't realize that I was in burnout until a month after I was in it. Our intentions often clear after the fact, because metacognition arrives post-crash, not during the drive. And that's because of the prefrontal cortex. Here's where the neuroscience gets spicy. Metacognition is housed in that PFC, the brain CEO, responsible for planning, impulse control, evaluating choices, monitoring performance, and mental time travel, past future thinking, that whole time blindness thing. In ADHD brains, this region is underdeveloped, underactivated, and dysregulated. So, Imaging studies show reduced dopamine transmission and delayed maturation in those areas. So think of your PFC as a high-level manager trying to run a chaotic office. But instead of a clear, focused to-do list, there are always random alarms going off, a clown juggling flaming to-do lists in the hallway, and a caffeine shortage that is so severe the manager keeps falling asleep. So when your internal CEO can't consistently supervise the team, aka your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, self-check-ins, reflections, and planning go straight out the window. Metacognition requires pause, and ADHD brains run on go mode. This is a big one. Metacognition demands stillness a little bit. It asks us to stop. And a lot of times, stop to the ADHD brain is like a different language. But it asks us to stop and zoom out and ask ourselves, is this working? What just happened? What do I need right now? By pausing, seriously, is antithetical? What? I don't know if that's a word. I think that I have a typo in here. But anyways, the ADHD brain is not wired to pause and think. We thrive on urgency, novelty, and motion. Rest feels uncomfortable, and reflection is boring, and we want to just do it later. So instead of reflecting before we act, we often impulse first, awareness second, decide now and regret later, and hyperfocus until the world disappears, spiral for hours, and then say, why didn't I stop myself sooner? We live in reaction mode, not in reflection mode. But again, this could be the skill you're missing. Say you're writing an email. It's going well until you decide to tweak just one sentence. 30 minutes later, you've rewritten the whole thing 6 times. You have Googled synonyms for collaborate and opened 4 unrelated tabs, including how tall is Pedro Pascal. And at no point did your brain say, hey, friend, this isn't what we plan to do. Should we stop and pivot? Because that part of your brain, the metacognitive supervisor, was busy chasing dopamine over in the candy aisle and then gave up and fell asleep. The ADHD brain is an untamed arcade. Imagine your brain as an old school arcade. You might already be overwhelmed. You've got dozens of games running, Time Crisis, Tetris of tasks, Whack a Thought. Now, imagine trying to sit down in the middle of all that chaos and calmly reflect on what you're managing in your time. Yeah, not happening. Your brain's too loud, too bright, and too busy. And the metacognition booth is tucked in a quiet corner next to the out-of-order air hockey table. It's there, but good luck hearing it over all the noise and urgent pings and panics in the bosses. And here's the reframe that you probably need to hear. If you struggle with metacognition, you're not lazy, you're not careless, and it's not that you're not trying hard enough. You're trying to reflect and regulate inside a system that wasn't designed to pause until after the explosion. Metacognition isn't missing in ADHD. It's just inconsistent and often late to the party. And that's because it was never developed correctly. But here's the good news. Because it can be developed, we can train it to show up sooner and be louder with more clarity. And we're going to talk about how and why it's even important to need to do this, especially as people with ADHD. But first, a word from our sponsors. Hey there. If you're looking for a game changer in managing your ADHD, let me tell you about something that's made a huge impact on my life. Focused, the adult ADHD group coaching program by Kristen Carter. This isn't just another program. It's a community. It's a roadmap. It's a lifeline for adults with ADHD who want to thrive. Inside of Focus, you'll find weekly coaching calls with Kristen packed with actionable insights, a supportive community of adults who get it. They get what it's like to live with ADHD. You'll get tools and strategies that actually work for our brains. No fluff, just real results. I've been a part of Focused for over a year, and let me tell you, it's where I've learned so much of what I share with you on Authentically ADHD. It's been a game changer for me, and I think it could be for you too. And here's the best part. If you use my link to join, we both save money. It's a win-win. So if you've been looking for the right ADHD support, this is your sign to check it out. Head to the link in my show notes to learn more and sign up. Let's thrive together with tools and support that we need to succeed. Are you also loving what we're doing on Authentically ADHD but want to take your experience to the next level? Well, I have got something for you. Introducing the Authentically ADHD Patreon, your VIP pass to the ultimate ADHD support hub. As a Patreon member, you'll unlock exclusive perks like early access to every single episode, hear it before anyone else does, a treasure trove of resources that I've made, tools, guides, and worksheets to help you thrive in everyday aspects of life, direct coaching opportunities with me designed to help you harness your ADHD powers, and the cherry on top, an incredible community of like-minded individuals who just get it. You're not alone on this journey, and together we can be unstoppable. By joining Patreon, you're not just supporting the podcast, you're fueling a movement. Together, we're breaking stigmas, embracing authenticity, and creating a world where ADHD is seen as a strength and not just a struggle. So what are you waiting for? Head over to patreon.com/authenticallyADHD and join the family today. Let's keep growing, thriving, and showing up authentically together. Hope to see you over there. Back to the show. All right, let's get real for a second. Why should we care about all of this thinking about thinking stuff, aka metacognition? Because without metacognition, we're not driving the car. We're clinging to the bumper while it skids through a construction zone, hoping that we don't crash again. Metacognition is not a luxury skill. It's essential, especially for ADHD brains. When metacognition is weak or absent, we're basically reacting instead of responding, jumping from emotion to emotion and emotion to action without any pause in between, and running instead of steering, busy but in all different directions. And that leads to pretty much repeating old patterns instead of learning from experience and adjusting as you go. That's not just frustrating, it's exhausting, and it keeps us stuck in shame spirals, last-minute panic loops, and self-sabotage cycles. But here's the good news. Metacognition is a change maker. Let's zoom in on what's really happening in your brain during metacognition. When you pause to reflect on what's your behavior or why did I snap at my partner, you're engaging the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for insight, moral reasoning, planning, and impulse control. This active reflection likely strengthens neural pathways associated with executive functioning. It's called neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to change through experience. It's a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. Just like you can strengthen muscles in your body to make them look differently, you can change and improve your brain, strengthen neural pathways in your brain called neuroplasticity, and strengthen the muscles. By engaging in self-evaluation, you're also calming activity in the amygdala, the emotional alarm center, the one that's always going off. Research shows that metacognitive awareness reduces stress, reactivity, and improves emotional regulation, something ADHDers struggle with a lot. Studies on metacognitive training show that it improves working memory, decision-making, and goal-directed behavior, all core areas of executive dysfunction in ADHD. So, here is an example. Two people, same situation, different outcome. Let's say two people both miss the same deadline. Person A, low metacognition. They say to themselves, I always screw up. I suck at this. Whatever. I'll just avoid my inbox for the week. They spiral into shame, avoid the task longer, and repeat the cycle. Person B, a person who's developing metacognition, notice I didn't say they have metacognition, they're perfect at it, they're developing it. Just like I believe humans develop the English language through their lifetime, because we're always learning new words and things like that, we're also developing self-awareness, developing metacognition. It's kind of like the point of living life most authentically. Anyways, so person B, who's developing metacognition, thinks, okay, that didn't go how I wanted. What distracted me? Did I underestimate the time it would take? Was I overwhelmed? They may still feel bad because they're human and they're learning. They can start adjusting their symptoms, and maybe next time they set a reminder or ask for support sooner. Same mistake, different trajectory. That's the power of metacognition. What metacognition helps us do? Emotional regulation. Instead of being hijacked by your emotions, you will learn to witness them. Wow, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Is this task or the pressure I'm putting on myself? Like, what is making me feel overwhelmed? It also helps with goal setting and follow through. You can pause and ask, what's the actual goal here? And what is getting in my way? Next, problem solving. You become less reactive and more adaptive. Ask me how I know. By reflecting and saying, okay, that approach didn't work, what's a different way that I could try? Approaching with curiosity instead of criticism is probably some of the best advice I've ever received in my life. I don't know who told it to me first, Brene Brown or John Acuff, but both of them have said it and I freaking love it. Procrastination awareness. You start spotting your avoidance patterns. I'm suddenly reorganizing my closet, which probably means I'm anxious about that email. Speaking of procrastination, make sure you check out my procrastination course in my link tree. Next, better decision making. Instead of flipping a coin or going with your gut, you weigh your options with a little more awareness. What outcome do I want here? Not just what feels good in the moment. And resilience when you mess up. This is the magic sauce. You stop defining yourself by your missteps and start treating them like data. Metaphor time. The internal coach. Think of metacognition as your internal coach, but not the angry sports dad yelling from the sidelines. No, this coach is calm, clear, and on your team. Their voice says, that didn't work how we hoped. Want to talk about why? You had a hard day, but you showed up, so let's regroup real quick. Let's try a different strategy next time. You're still learning. This coach doesn't shame you into action. They guide you into alignment. Without that voice, ADHD brains get stuck in their default setting, the inner critic, who's really just scared of the version of us trying to stay safe by just failing ahead of time by not doing anything. But we activate the coach instead of the critic. Everything changes. Ask me how I know. What's the bottom line? Metacognition is how we become the kind of person we're trying to be. We don't need to be perfect. We don't need to have it all figured out. I don't think we ever do. But you do need awareness, because awareness creates space. Self-awareness is the key. All right? Knowledge is amazing. I forgot my little quote just then. Knowledge is power and self-awareness is the key. There we go. Space to make a different choice. Space to forgive yourself, and space to pause, pivot, and try again and try different. Metacognition does not mean you're not going to make any more mistakes. It means you're going to grow from them. And that's the win. Next up, we're diving into actionable strategies to strengthen metacognition, even with ADHD. All right, time to get to the how. You know the drill. No shame, no blame. Choose what you want and trash the rest. These are neuroscience-backed, ADHD-friendly ways to build that reflective muscle. No journaling marathons required. 1. Pause and label your thinking. Catch yourself mid-task and ask, what am I doing or what am I thinking right now? Is it helpful to want I want to be doing? No, that's not the sentence. Let me start over. Apparently reading is hard to me today. So pause and label your thinking. It's like stopping mid-task and like, what am I thinking about right now? Is that helpful to what I want to be doing right now? What am I doing right now? Is that conducive to the goal that I want? Even just 5 seconds of naming your thoughts interrupts that autopilot mode, and this metacognitive micro moment is amazing. Neuroscience tip: naming your thoughts activates the prefrontal cortex and calms the emotional brain, the amygdala. It's called affect labeling, literally cooling the brain's panic center by adding language. 2. Use reflective prompts, tiny but mighty. At the end of the day, or even midday, mid-task, whatever, ask yourself, what's going well or what went well today? What is hard? What feels hard? What feels overwhelming and why? What did I learn about how I work best? What would I try differently next time? Write 1 sentence for each, or voice memo it, or write a paragraph. It's the process that matters, not the grammar and not the length. It's the actual process. Number 3, interrupt and redirect with meta moments. Set timers or use visual cues during tasks to pop yourself out of autopilot. Sticky notes that say check yourself, or phone reminders that ask, are you still on task? Or even a rubber band on your wrist to gently snap as a sensory cue to refocus. These little wake-up cues engage that metacognitive gear shift, especially when you add that sensory touch or feel or smell into it. Externalize your thinking. Number 4, talk through your process out loud or write it down. Do it with a coach, a friend, or your pet lizard, or your imaginary friend. It doesn't matter. When ADHD brains try to work things out in their head, they get lost in a fog of thoughts. Externalize it. Talking gives your thinking a trail to follow. And bonus, it activates multiple areas of the brain, visual, auditory, and motor, increasing clarity and retention. 5, last but certainly not least, replay the tape. After a moment of frustration, like a meltdown, shutdown, or a oops, I said too much at the meeting again, ask, what triggered me? What was I feeling? What need was unmet? What might help me next time? This isn't about shaming yourself. It's about debriefing like a detective, not a judge. Final thoughts. Metacognition is a practice, not a skill that we perfect. Listen, ADHD brains are not broken. They just process information and reflection differently. This means that we just need to make metacognition more concrete, external, and frequent, and remind ourselves to actually do it. It's not about being perfectly self-aware all the time, because that's exhausting. It's about being curious about your own patterns, because when we get curious instead of critical, change becomes possible. And not only possible, but probable. Metacognition is the bridge between reaction and response. And every time you cross that bridge, even for a moment, you grow a little bit. That's all I have for today, my brilliant, unique thinkers. If this episode helped you out, and you think that it helped you rethink how you think, see what I did there? Share it with someone who'd love it too. Leave a review and tag me at authentically_ADHD_podcast. And don't forget, you're not behind. You're just building awareness in your own time. 1 meta moment at a time. Until next time, stay reflective, stay resilient, and as always, stay authentic, and we will talk soon.